even more than today have joined the launch event on the 15th of September, have raised a lot of questions, and we get since a lot of questions still in terms of having more detail on different topics. And therefore today we have selected the 3 main topics in order to give you also a more deep answer. And I guess all the answers which were raised will be answered, and even more, because the specialists or the experts we have today for you have also participated in the working group. They know also very much, but also they are specialists because they are working in their company on these topics, and they know exactly how to implement this. So you will also soon have access to an FAQ dedicated revision 4, where you can find much more text. You can read it carefully on the portal. And of course, also as announced in the launch event in September, further webinars will follow, where we'll also help to give the clearest view possible of this new revision 4. Next slide, please. So I'm happy to have today on board and to let them share their experience with you. First, after my introduction, you will have an insight on the SME, Small Medium Enterprise, by Zhu Yanghua from Siemens Mobility. Then we will have more details on project management. I know that you think that it's more complex because now it's A, B, and C, but you will see with Peter that it's absolutely the opposite. Peter, who is working for Knorr-Bremse. And then also about supporting functions. We had many questions, and here I like as well to introduce already, and she will do it later on, Anne-Emmanuelle Baudrier, who joined last week as technical leader IMC, and she has also a broad experience in the sector and in the industry, and she will also tell you about this new element, or this, at least this new name, supporting function, what is behind. But now I will already start, because that's also during the launch event we remarked that the most exciting element was coming at the end, which is the implementation phase, and I will give you also a little bit more on that. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yes, this one. So here I put several information together on one slide. First, there is the table which is in the new rules about the reference date and how the certification cycle is working with the different moment of the certification audit. You can see the different surveillance audits and the recertification audit when the corrective action have to be closed. Also I put here in the very big green arrows the different options you will have for the switch to the revision 4. I will commence on the right side with the option 1, because this is the easiest, the simplest for everyone, especially for you in the companies, is to switch during a recertification audit. Because this means that you will, instead of having the normal revision 3 recertification audit, you will have the updated revision 4 recertification audit, which of course then will be much easier for the auditor, for you, because you will have the full set of requirements audited in once. That's the easiest way, but of course it depends on your situation in with the reference date and when the next recertification is coming for you. But this we will see later on. The second option is the switch during a surveillance audit. And here you might have two choices. When your next audit is a surveillance 1 and you feel ready after a thorough analysis of the rules, performance requirements, and the new ISO 22163, during the surveillance audit 1, you will have the possibility to undergo immediately the switch by a dedicated set of requirements which are linked to this evolution, which are, if I remember well, 57 topics, which are especially dedicated to that. And then you can have directly afterwards a revision 4 certificate, first for the remaining time until the end of the current validity you have. The same option is offered when you are just before the Surveillance 2 at the start of this revision 4. So this is to show you here, linked to your situation, when you can afford to switch. Next slide, please. Now, when is the time? And this slide, you saw it already in the launch event. There are, in fact, 2 times to start. When you are not yet certified IRIS today, you can immediately start in the revision 4 from the 1st of January on. That's the situation which allows you to start from scratch directly in revision 4 without having ever have a previous certification. For all those who are currently certified, in revision 3, the deadline or the starting date is on the 1st of April 2024. And in this case, either through recertification, if your audit has to be recertified after this 1st of April, or in a surveillance audit. Of course, those who have a reference date and an audit date time between April and end of the year, you might have even the choice to say, I wait 2025, because maybe in 2025 there is a normal time of recertification. 2 advantages: a little bit more time to clearly address the new topics, and second, to do it in the easiest way during a recertification time. So therefore, it really depends on your situation, where you are regarding the reference date, regarding the audit when you are doing it. You know that it's much easier to do the audit a little bit before the reference date in order that you have time to close potential corrective actions, and all this has to be taken into account. I will immediately answer a question I saw several times. I hope I had also verbally in different meetings where I presented this slide already in the last 3 weeks. When my date is close to April 2024, reference date or my audit, what can I do? So we are currently analyzing these cases, and it will be a kind of allowance time before or after, where we will give you the opportunity, especially when your time is a recertification time, to allow to start a little bit later in order to immediately enter into the scheme. That's absolutely taken into account for those who have a recertification approaching. For the surveillance audit, no need, I would say, because we have largely the time and even to start in 2025 directly in the recertification then, but be aware that we will analyze the cases which will be addressed to us at the IMC, either through the certification body, who are also informed, and we will also continue to directly inform on all specific detail. And this is really a detail of application in the next weeks and months. And also you see on the bottom that we will start in a couple of days the auditor upgrade training. This means more and more progressively people will be informed about all the details. So that was the part I wanted to present you. And before handing over to the next speaker, if you have already questions on the implementation phase, maybe Anish, you can tell me, because I know that everybody is excited about the timing before entering in the detail.
Yes, Bernard, thank you very much. This is Anish Bauer speaking. So in fact, there are indeed some questions about the implementation phase, and some of those are, when is the best time for me to transition into the new IRIS certification revision 4 standard?
Okay, as mentioned, first step is to check when you are revision 3 certified, what is your reference date, and when you are generally doing your audit, performing your audit, 2 months in advance, 3 months in advance, and depending that you have to put this on this schedule. Is it okay after April? Is it even okay, as I mentioned, if my recertification date is 2025? Maybe it's even better, as mentioned, because you have more time. So you have to analyze all the situation clearly linked to the reference date, which is yours, and also the audit time, which is yours. 2 additional precisions. I heard as well, can I start before April? If you are right, IRIS revision 3 certified, no, not possible. If another question is, can I also change my reference date, especially if there is a situation where I have other sister companies in my corporation where we had a change in the organization? The answer is yes, we will allow this, but by individual request through the certification body, in order that the situation is clear for all of you, company, auditors, and so on, in order that we can take this into account. Of course, the shift will not be by 1 year or 6 months, but we need to address it in a normal time frame. But we can, as well as we have done it in 2017 when there was a transition phase from the IRIS revision 2, we can, of course, find a way that in your new setup of the organization, it's in the best way. All this will also be addressed then individually with the CBs and your company. Other questions, Anish?
No more questions. I think we can go to the next slide, Bernard.
Okay, the next slide is linked to the transition time. Here as well we had questions, because those who already got their new booklet with the rules, they saw a very nice table which gives the mandates for the revision 4. And you have surely seen as well that this table is now much more complete, and there is no need of big calculations to know how many days. Nevertheless, for the switch to revision 4, is it in the surveillance audit, in the transition audit, or in the normal recertification revision 4, the times are a little bit higher. You have understood why, because of these 57 topics which are new and addressed newly. The table in the booklet are the one to be used for the certification audit the first time. This means from 1st of January on for total newcomer, and for the first surveillance audit in revision 4, and for the first recertification audit in revision 4. But for switching, you have this table, which is applicable and which also will be available very soon in a kind of fact sheet or guideline we are preparing for the transition audit, to clarify all this and to answer also a maximum of questions. This document, the first draft, is already on my desk, but very soon we will give access with a large point on all the questions you might have. So that
Bernard,
was,
excuse me, there's one more question that just came in that's very interesting, yes. And I think before you go, I would like to raise it. The question is as follows. Will the update of my client portal, so I assume the person means the company master data on the portal, will it impact the man days calculation?
Yes, it can. If you have more people in your headcount, of course, it will impact. But this is something which has nothing to do with the revision 4. This is something which is the case since the beginning. I mean, every year since the revision 3, you have to update the data of the headcount in order if you have more people in headcount, but also if you have less people in headcount. This means that clearly the possibility to have more mandates or less mandates is every year to be adjusted according your last data. And for the revision 4, there will be other elements to be addressed in the master data, as explained by Anish during the launch webinar. And here as well there will be additional information on that coming, I guess not today, but in one of the next webinar, always to fix with you when you can modify your data in the portal. But here, Anish, you have maybe a little bit more information on this.
Thank you so much, Bernard. So I would, just before I hand over to the next speaker, which is Yanhua, I'd like to request the audience to go to menti.com, add in the code 58525223. If you can see it on the screen, then you can just scan the QR code, and you could just take 5 minutes of your time and just answer a question for us. And also, if you could possibly and also you can ask your own questions as well. That would be great. I'd like to hand over to Yanhua now for her side of the presentation.
Hi, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, maybe also good morning. I'm very glad to introduce a new approach of IRIS certification, especially for SME company. Go to please next slide. Okay. SME means small medium enterprise. And what kind of company could be identified as SME in terms of IRIS certification? The two factors are considered for the classification. First one is headquarters, that is the total headquarters of whole company. And second one is turnover, that is also total turnover in the whole company. In the table, you can see there is two factors with different criteria, or we call this limit. And according to this factor, the company could be identified in 4 categories, from normal company until micro company. And one issue we should know, the criteria of one factor, if higher than the limit, then the category of the company should be go up. For example, one company, they have 40 employees. Then take a look at the table, they belong to small company. But if his turnover is 50 million per year, then this is higher than the limit of small company. This company cannot be identified as a small company. They go up to higher level. It's medium entertainment. And if the companies are in the range of SME, then the company have 2 options for the IRIS certification. One is full IRIS certification, which we have now. A second one is a new approach. We call it Simplified IRIS certification. But if the company in the range of normal enterprise, then such kind of company cannot apply simplified IRIS certification. Go to please next slide. Thank you. And simplified. What are simplified in terms of IRIS certification? We can see there are 3 topics. First one is implementation in the company, that is simplified. Documentation is reduced. For example, process description. SME can use total diagram or simple flowchart to define the applicable process. Second topic is scope of process review. It's reduced a lot. For the simplified IRIS certification, the company needs only maximum 5 key process review. Then process owner is also reduced. It's only for maximum 5 key processes need a process owner. Okay, then regarding to audit, regarding to the simplified IRIS certification audit, the auditor scope is also tailored accordingly. One sample is evaluation on the customer perception. It's not taken account by the simplified audit. And the auditor days are also reduced around 20% compared with the full certification audit. For example, for the medium company, for the full certification audit, the auditor days is 10 days. For the simplified audit, the auditor days is 7 days. Now, what will be happened with the certificate? The simplified wording is remarked on the certificate. And for the simplified IRIS certification, there are no quality performance level. Okay, let's go to next slide. Thank you. Then, in the new approach, what are not simplified or what are not changed? Regarding to requirements, the documented information which are required by ISO 9001 is not changed, is remained. Share requirement of ISO 22163 are almost remained. And the day for data submission is same as for IRIS certification, is 6 days before audit. Then the next is some small company. They belong to a corporation company. Such kind small company cannot apply the simplified approach. And another case is a SME company who already IRIS certified. That means they have full IRIS certification. There is no approach for such kind of company to backward or downgrade to the simplified IRIS certification. Question is why? Because separate of the certification of IRIS is going forward for be better and go up. Go to please next slide. Okay, then what is else regarding to the new approach? For example, auditor tools. After the company confirm his state in the IRIS portal, then the auditor tools will be updated automatically to match situation of SME. For example, all the assured requirement will not appear in the assessment sheet, and the customer performance evaluation is also displayed in the auditor tools. And this auditor tools, this adjusted auditor tools, is also suitable for the intern audit by SME. Okay, the next is if the company has a simplified IRIS certification, it's possible go to full IRIS certification. Answer is clear, yes, but with a condition. Condition is that this simplified IRIS certification has been implemented through one certification cycle. That means 3 years. After that, the company should submit application with date package 16 days before the audit. Please pay attention. This date package is the full IRIS certification audit. Then next step is for audit. Then all applicant IRIS requirement will be checked through next re-certification audit. Okay, that is message from my side. Thank you for your attention. Now I would like hand over to Peter.
Thank you very much and welcome everybody. I will speak about the changes of the project management clause in IRIS. Next page, please. Next slide, please. First of all, I would like to give you a historical review. What was the main concern with the project management? Why was the change necessary? Usually in the real business, products and services are tailored to individual requirements of a customer, but not always. For example, some companies are only active in the product business, and the old ISO TS 22163 standard did not take into consideration the business model of an organization. Therefore, the entire 813 project management chapter requirements were mandatory, independently from their business. Thus, the assessment of this process generated misunderstanding and highly depended on the auditor. To solve these issues, IRQB released the so-called IRIS Guideline 10 project management 2 years ago. By the way, this guideline is available in the IRQB portal, so you can download it. Next slide, please. This chart is from the guideline, and I think this is the most important part of it, the A, B, and C categorization, because the PM activities were classified into 3 different categories. First is the well-known engineering to order, A. Then the B category, which is make to order or assembly to order, and the last one is make to stock, which is the C. By the way, this guideline also provides further explanation and examples, so I think it's worth to double check it. But still, this is only a guideline, not a standard. Hence, the new ISO 22163 standard project management clause was amended by the text, which you can see here in the note 1, which is almost the same, but you can find in the guideline. Namely, it differentiates between various project management activities. But not only the ISO, the new ISO standard, but also the IRIS certification performance assessment was changed. Next slide, please. By adding this chart below, so as you can see, this chart further describes the project management activities, and it is in strong correlation with the previously mentioned guideline. So going into the details, the main trigger is the design and development activity. If you don't have design development, it's simple. The project definitely falls under the category B or C. But if you have design or development, then it's usually A, or it can be limited to B or C, depends on the customer needs and expectations. In the next slide, I will tell you some examples. Next slide, please. So customer demand is to develop a brand new brake pad. All activities, project management, design, production, sales, everything is applied, so this is definitely category A. But due to the nature of the brake pad, because it wears off later it becomes a standard spare part. So from that point, it is a category C. The next example, the second one is, let's take a multinational company like KB, which has several locations worldwide. For example, the headquarter activities are the project management, design, commissioning, everything except manufacturing. Then this headquarter project management activities falls under the category A. But all the production locations, which likely in other countries, but it doesn't really matter, when there is no classical project management, no sales, only manufacturing according to specific customer needs, those locations are B. And the third one is a maintenance or service location where all the service activities are standardized and common for all customers. For example, repairing of a brake caliper. This is category C, a simple order management. But if this service needs some adaptations, like modernization of a part or additional design efforts is needed due to some obsolescence issues, then this will be A or B, depending on the topic. I would like to highlight that always the upper category shall be selected in your local procedures or in an external audit. So that means if you have only one A project in a year, the rest is B or C, then the A project must be assessed externally, internally, everywhere. Next slide, please. And probably what most interests you, what kind of reliefs can be applied depending on the different project categories. Officially, the official answer is that the new IRIS assessment sheet defines all the questions and all the requirements for all project management classifications ABC. The simpler the project, the more the exclusion. But to give you a little help, I copied this table from the guideline, but I would like to highlight that this guideline is currently under revision. For instance, the new project review subclause is missing if you check it. So this was released 2 years ago. It must be updated. But again, I think it gives a good overview. So for example, category A, at category A, all project management requirements of the ISO standard must be fulfilled. Everything is applicable. You cannot exclude anything. But for companies who falls in the category B, some subclauses can be put as not applicable, like integration management, or partly applicable, for example, human resource management. And that category C, which is again mainly for product business or simple order management, most of the requirements are not applicable or just partly applicable. And there is only one criteria which is fully applicable, that's the procurement management. But again, all the detailed requirements can be found in the new IRIS assessment sheet. That's the really official answer to this question. So in a nutshell, that's all what I wanted to share with you, and I do hope it helps to better understand the changes. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Peter. And I'd like to ask Anna and Emmanuel to join us. She is the IMC Unify coordinator. And thank you, Anna and Manuel.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Tanvi. Thank you, Peter. So today, I will introduce you the supporting function. So like my colleague said, I just joined UNIFE and IMC team 2 weeks ago, actually. And for me, it's a pleasure today to introduce you the supporting function from the performance assessment of the revision 4. Let's go to the next slide, please. So there are actually 3 types of supporting function. There is the remote function, site as extension, guiding functions. So remote functions means supporting function in remote location. Site extensions means production and maintenance activity performed in another location but connected to a certified site. And guiding function is a group of processes that drive mostly several sites. So what we decided to introduce the supporting function, it was to support the complex organization in railway and also to point out the importance of supporting function for certification, but also for performance assessment. So just to give some example, as I gave you the definition of the 3 types of supporting function, for remote function, it can be, for example, HR, sales, design activities. For site extension, it can be only production or maintenance, so it could be warehouse, assembly line. And for guiding function, it will be mostly business lines, division, project organization, based on the definition I gave you just some minutes ago. Next slide, please. So regarding the supporting function, I will explain now in the details the characteristic for the certification, but also for the audit. So if we focus on remote function, we can do all the type of audit. It's mean on-site, semi-remote or remote. Regarding the frequency of the audit for remote function, it's annual, but it needs to be in line with the supported sites. Then regarding the certification, it could be possible to have a certification for remote function, but at least we need to have 3 certification activities, including requirement for product and services. It's mandatory. Then regarding the characteristic, the remote function could be autonomous if it has its own IRQMS process. But if it's not the case, you need to follow the IRQMS process of the connected side. And in any case, we have a dedicating audit plan. Even if it's possible to have certification different, we need to have an audit plan linked to the connected site or not. Then regarding site extension, so as I said before, site extension is mostly linked to production and maintenance activity. So the audit could be only on site. And also the frequency of the audit is annual and it needs to be aligned with the supported site. The certification for site extension is not possible because the site extension is not dependent. It is linked to the RMXUS of the main site, and there is no autonomy. All the authority for decision making is done by the connected site. And also regarding the audit plan, it is linked to the main site audited. To finish, I will talk about the guiding function. So the guiding function could have any kind of type of audit, but we recommend the semi-remote audit. Then the frequency of audit is annual as well, but need to be done before the guided site, as it's a guiding function. Then regarding certification, it's also possible to have this own certification, but you need to have at least 2 certifications activities, including requirement for product and services. So for guiding function, the characteristics are the following. It's a common IRQMS, as is a guiding function. And we have some specific cases. In case of the guiding function as more than the 2 locations, we need to set up an audit landscape. What it means? It means we need to have an overview of all the functions connected together and how we can organize the audit. So it's really specific cases and it need to be defined by the organization and also checked by the lead auditor and validated by the ILC team. It's really specific and depend of how the company want to set up this organization. So regarding my part, that's all. If you have more questions, don't hesitate. I will reply to you through Anish QA part.
Thank you very much, my dear. Thank you very much, dear speakers, and it was a great pleasure to have you here. Now, without further ado, we will go through the question and answers. So, of course, Tanvi will also show you now the QR code one more time. In the case that you still want to ask some more questions, it's our pleasure to take these next 15 minutes to answer them. Just before I go into the questions, I'm also looking at it on my screen directly. I'm also very happy to announce that we have received 80 people answering our question. Have you already read the performance assessment document? And I must admit, only 30 of you have said yes. 22 of you have announced that you will soon read it. And another 30 of you, 1/3, have said that you have not yet read it. So, of course, we're going to go through the questions, but a lot of these questions are also self-answered directly in the document itself. So, without further ado, let's go directly into the questions. And one question about the SMEs, the simplified approach that has come quite often, actually, is the following. Shall I, as an SME, provide evidence to confirm the data of the turnover and the headcounts? And for this type of question, I would like to hand the floor back to Yanhua. Thank you.
Okay. I'm glad to answer this question. The evidence to show to confirm the date what you provide is not necessary. We trust you and trust your company. I hope I answered this question.
Thank you very much, Yanhua. As I said, we have only received 22 questions so far, so please do not hesitate to ask some more. Obviously, at the same time, I'm consolidating the respective questions. One thing that I see here coming up quite often is regarding the project management approach. So I assume it's for you, Peter, and it's as following. We are an organization that has multiple types of project management. For example, the project management A and B. Which case shall then be applicable for IRIS certification? Which one shall I pick?
Always the most complex, that means A. So if you have A and B, that was also in my example. So if you have only one project which is A, then it is unfortunately the A project will be audited by external guys. Of course, you have to make your local procedures for both type of projects. But again, always the most complex matters. In your case, it is A.
Thank you very much, Peter. I go back to the SME approach because I've seen quite a lot of questions that are concerning one topic, and I will try to paraphrase. I am currently certified for revision 3. I am an SME. Can I do an SME simplified audit in revision 4? Yanhua, are you able to answer this question?
Okay, yes. Yes, that's good questions. As I already mentioned in the session for SME, the current IRIS 3 is for IRIS certification approach. That is no we go back or go down. That means for the IRIS 4, this company should go on with the full IRIS certification.
Thank you very much, Yanhua. It was very clear. And just to reiterate, we believe that the simplified approach for the small and medium enterprises are to be used as a stepping stone, as a starter package to become and to achieve the obvious full IRIS certification. Now, I've just been looking through the questions, and I see a few regarding the supporting functions. So this is for today. This is for Anna Manuel, and there's just 2 or 3, and they're talking about the following point: can I get my own certificate as a supporting function?
So yes, it's possible only for remote function and for guiding function, but we have some condition. At least you need to have 2 certification activities for remote function, including requirement management, and for guiding function, at least 3 certification activities, including requirement management as well.
Thank you very much, Anna Manuel. I'm just refreshing the page to see if there are more questions. And I think we have received a few more. I think I see one of them even with for my competence. Will the respective processes be linked and shown in the IRIS audit tool? So in fact, as per revision 3, in revision 4, we will see also in the new audit tool web the mandatory processes directly into the tool. I see another question or 2 regarding the audit landscape. I think, Anna Manuel, there seems to maybe be a bit of a not a full understanding on what an audit landscape is. So can you just reiterate what this is again for those people who asked the question?
An audit landscape is specific case when you want to have a guiding function, but you have more than 2 locations belong to this guiding function, and for that we need to set up an audit landscape. So what this means? This means we need to define how all the functions are connected together and how we can perform the audit. And it's a bit specific case, and that's why we need to validate this audit landscape with the lead auditor, and the IMC team as well need to check it. But first of all, it needs to be set up by the organization, also in the data master data in the IRIS portal. So it's really something new and based on the cases of each company. It's a specific case. Otherwise, if you have less than 2 locations, the guiding function can follow the explanation I said before, and also in the performance assessment rules.
Thank you very much, Anna Manuel. I've just seen a question. This will be for Peter. Oh, I've lost it. 1 second. Yes. Can you give us some more examples of project management B? Can you take the floor, Peter?
Yeah, sure. So I can just tell you some Knorr-Bremse example, if you don't mind. So for those locations or those companies who have very limited or almost 0 design activities, the B category mainly applies for them. So for example, we do have many production locations worldwide who has no direct customer relationship. Those customer communication is mainly done by another company, I mean other KB company or a headquarter, and those locations where they perform production or service activities based, of course, on a customer demand. So that's, I mean, specific customer demands, not a shelf product. Mainly, those are locations where the project category B applies. So that means not a absolutely standard product. It's a customer tailored product, but project management is not on their premises. It is managed by other location.
Thank you very much, Peter. Very well explained. I have a question even for myself, funnily enough. Is the IRIS audit tool going to automatically identify the certification as a SME? Yes, in fact, it will. So in fact, the SME approach is what we call in the performance assessment 2023 as the simplified IRIS certification. And in the simplified IRIS certification, as Yanua has explained, in the company master data of the organization in the IRIS portal, they shall then 90 days before the latest, before the audit, confirm the validity of their information. In this information, they can specify whether or not they wish to become or wish to obtain the simplified IRIS certification. Now, if all of the rules that Yanua has explained are in line with the company, then of course in the IRIS audit tool, when the auditor will conduct the audit, it will magically, automatically have the respective functionality applicable to simplified organizations. So there will be no need to have your auditors assessing the performance evaluation, customer perception, and so on. I also saw a question regarding SMEs on the topic of the scoring. And I can already quickly just directly answer that, as we have only a few more minutes left. The simplified audits will only achieve a pass or fail result in their certification. And I kindly invite you to purchase or read the new rule document that we have, if you already have purchased it. And towards the end of the document, you will see a table outlining all of the information regarding the scoring. So then, without further ado, I would like to show you the last slide on our presentation that will talk about the next IRQB Quality Monthly. And here we will talk about the outputs that we had in our latest IRQB Executive Workshop, where we took the most important aspects in our industry concerning IRIS certification, and we had a workshop to discuss how we can tackle these points. So please be sure to follow us on our LinkedIn, Twitter, our IRQB website to follow the news shortly that we will publish regarding the registration for the next IRQB webinar that will take place on the 10th, Friday the 10th of November, same time between 2 and 3 CEST. Thank you very much. Wishing you a nice day and a weekend ahead. Thank you.